You are listening to the Drink Less Lifestyle podcast with Dr. Sherry Price, episode number 48.
Welcome to Drink Less Lifestyle, a podcast for successful women who want to change their relationship with alcohol. If you want to drink less, feel healthier, and start loving life again, you're in the right place. Please remember that the information in this podcast does not constitute medical advice. Now, here's your host, Dr. Sherry Price.
Well, hello, my friends. Welcome back into the podcast. Today, I want to talk to you about counting alcohol-free days. And here's why. It pains me when I see posts inside my private Facebook page. By the way, it's called Stop the Overdrinking Habit if you want to come join us. Because I see these posts that women post that counting alcohol-free days is not working for them. I see these posts inside the Facebook page and, the women make it 10 days or they're saying they made it 14 days and then they overdrank. They binged the night before and they say they don't know why. Let me tell you why counting alcohol-free days does not work for most people. Because it doesn't get to the root cause of why you're drinking. If you're drinking because you're unhappy in your marriage and guess what? Stopping drinking doesn't fix the main problem that's causing you to drink. And now you've taken away that one thing that helps you cope. So guess what you're going to feel? Miserable. Makes total sense, right? Or if you're drinking because you don't like your life or some part of your life, and then you stop drinking, it will only make that part of your life that you're unhappy with more apparent. And you'll feel miserable because you will have given up drinking, which is the coping mechanism. And you'll still want to escape and numb when your life isn't what you want it to be. So when you stop, naturally, it'll feel worse. And that's why I see so many posts saying this is so hard. Why does it have to be this hard? Yes, because you've just taken away the one pleasure or the one coping mechanism that helps you feel and deal with the life that you really don't want to be dealing with. This is why counting alcohol-free days doesn't work. Because it doesn't solve or fix the problem that's driving you to drink. When you don't fix the real issue, counting alcohol-free days is going to feel like a slog. It's not going to be fun. And here's what it will cause you to do. It'll cause you to muster up all this willpower to just not drink. Meanwhile, you're not experiencing any joy or happiness in your life because that pain of the thing that you're trying to numb is still there. So now it just feels like your life is worse without any alcohol. Have you been there? I know I have. And then we use all this willpower to resist the urge. Oh, I'm not going to drink tonight. Oh, I just want to make it to day 4 or day 5. And willpower is forcing yourself to do something that you really don't want to do. I call it fighting with yourself when you have to rely on willpower. And that gets exhausting, mentally, emotionally, and it takes its toll on us physically. So what happens? You cave, you overdrink, you binge. No surprise there, my friends. No surprise at all. I see this pattern all the time in that free private Facebook page. I see the posts all the time and my heart breaks because you're doing it wrong. I've had a prior podcast about this and I just feel like it's not resonating. So I want to say it again. And when I hear women say, I don't know why I can be good for a few days and then, oops, I just lose it. Or I don't know why I can't seem to get a handle on this. Or it really pains me when I hear I'm ruining my life and I don't know how to stop and I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. Ladies, it's not a mystery. You're 100% right. Alcohol is ruining your life. It's making you feel lousy about yourself and it's not fixing the issues that need to be fixed. And it's a terrible coping mechanism. Your sleep suffers, you gain weight, you're moody, you're on this emotional roller coaster ride, and you stay on the ride because you don't know how to get off. You're 100% right that you don't know how to stop if you're just relying on alcohol-free days. It doesn't work. So why do we do it? Because we see other people do it. And there is a rare percentage of them that get success. And we want that success for our lives. So I'll tell you why that strategy works for that rare percentage of people. And I'll also tell you why, if you're trying this strategy and it's not working, why that is. So listen up, because what I'm going to say next is so profound. And I've been saying it on almost every podcast. When you are just relying on the strategy of counting alcohol-free days, it means that you believe that alcohol is the problem. How many times have I said over and over, alcohol is not the problem? Now, if alcohol was the problem, right, we would just need to avoid it and we would just need to abstain from it. And do you know what the success rate is of a pure abstinence program? Do you know what their success rate is? Less than 10%. Yes, AA, most rehabs that rely on just pure abstinence, that don't teach you how to fix the underlying problem, their success rates are dismal because they tell you that alcohol is the problem. And I tell you in this podcast over and over and over, it is not the problem. Your brain sees alcohol as the solution. Why do you drink? Because it helps you feel better. Why do you drink? Because it helps you cope, right? Our brain doesn't see it as the problem. It sees it as the solution. Because when you feel better, your brain says, wow, this must be helping me. Your brain is not stupid. And a lot of these strategies about abstinence were developed in the 1930s and 40s when we didn't have the science. We didn't know how alcohol affected the brain as much as we know now. And we thought alcohol truly was the problem, but now we know differently. And what's even better is now we know success rates of amazing programs that teach you skills and tools to get over this. So it's no longer a problem. For so many women that I talk with, they tell me drinking is really their only relief in life. Sometimes exercise. It's the only part of their day where they feel good about themselves. Because everything else feels stressful. Everything else feels chaotic. Everything feels like it's not going to be okay. But when they drink, they feel secure. They feel the relief. They feel that alcohol is their friend. It's their security blanket. It's their whoopee. And as I talked about in an earlier podcast, it becomes the adult pacifier. It helps us self-soothe. So if you don't love your life, if you find your life a wreck or stressful or a lot going on, and you take away the one guilty pleasure you have, how will you feel? Of course you'll feel terrible. And that is not sustainable. Nobody wants to feel terrible for a long time. So it's no wonder why the long-term success of abstinence-only programs is so dismal. This is the one area of your life you kind of find joyful? Let me take that away from you. No, it's about improving what's causing your life to feel like it's not good. What's the problem in it? I've seen it so many times. I've had past clients who've been through these programs and then they drink. Now they feel more broken when they have this relapse and they feel even more weak, more afraid, and more discouraged because they caved and they spiraled. And now they feel like they're a bad person and they feel judged by society. They are so ashamed of themselves and of this habit. And this is damaging. Who wants to sit in a circle in a room and talk about how miserable their life is or how powerless they've become? I'm sorry, but it's not appealing. It's totally demoralizing. And it's damaging because it's not helping people get to the root cause of the problem and create the life that they want. They're just told to avoid something. So let's just blame alcohol because it's bad for us. Because we're bad for keeping on wanting it. And let's just sit in this yucky place and hope that we'll be strong enough for that battle tonight. I just need to resist that enemy. I just need to use more willpower. I know I could be stronger than that bottle. I'm sorry, but this is not giving people the life they want. Nobody wants this internal battle and this internal struggle on a nightly basis. For me, I have one life and I want to live it fully with purpose and be fulfilled in doing what I do. And I'll tell you, that's what most people want. And when you give people what they want and they give them a fulfilling life, they won't want to drink. Look, if you're drinking because of a poor marriage, That's what we fix inside of Drink Less Lifestyle. We work on the problem to fix that marriage. If you're drinking because of work and home commitments are too much, that's what we work on to fix inside of Drink Less Lifestyle. We work on the problem causing the drinking. This is how you fix your life. We don't just sit around and talk about drinking and how miserable we feel. We actually fix problems. Now, I work with a lot of women who feel very successful, who say they're doing all the things, but yet they still feel unsatisfied inside. They don't feel quite fulfilled. They don't know why they aren't happy. They are confused because they want to be happy, they just don't know how to get there. And so the drink becomes their happy place. And this is the work that we go to do inside Drink Less Lifestyle. It's where we look at your life and change what is not working. And I know exactly why women are confused, because I had been there myself. And I see it all the time in women, right? We're so worried about pleasing others and doing the right thing at the job and pleasing our families and giving to everybody else that we become so disconnected from our own wants and our own desires. And the only desire that we feel inside over time becomes this desire for the drink. And that's what we change. It's the most important work you can do for yourself. And when you get to the root cause of what's driving the drinking and you fix it, your relationship with alcohol, of course, will automatically change. Because you fixed the problem. You're no longer just relying on alcohol for pleasure and joy. You've created pleasure and joy in your life. And this is why solely counting alcohol-free days doesn't work. And here's what's damaging to the human soul. When you think you're bad because you caved in and you overdrank or binged, you take that as a sign of weakness. You tell yourself you're a bad person. You tell yourself, gosh, I got to start over again and I got to start back on day one. Here I go again, back to day one, and I'll see the posts. Wish me luck. It's not luck that's going to change your relationship with alcohol. It's not luck that's going to change your life. It's not luck that's going to fix your problems. Life is not about luck. Life is about skills. That's life. It's a game of skill. Do you have skills? Great. We will hire you for those skills. You want a job and you have this skill set? Great. Come on in. We'll give you a job and we'll give you a paycheck. No, you don't have the skills we're looking for? No job, no paycheck. Life is always learning about skills to become successful. That's how we succeed in life. That's why we go to school. That's why we hire tutors and teachers and mentors and coaches. We want the skills that they offer, that they teach. You don't hire them just for the knowledge. You hire them for the skill. The skill means you've learned it. You've changed because of the knowledge and the talent and the skill that you've now acquired. You want to run a marathon? Great. Get a running coach. Do they teach you how to run? No. You already know how to do that. One foot in front of the other and go fast, right? You already know how to run. So what does the coach teach you? Teach you all kinds of skills to improve your form, to improve your running, to help you know how to stay hydrated, to listen to your body, to give it glucose as an energy source if you're running long distance, and how to avoid cramping and how to avoid crashing and how to avoid getting injuries that are common for people who run long distance. They also teach you the skill on how to mentally stay engaged so that you cross the finish line. They give you tools and skills so that you learn when you're running an upset plan on how much to run and what to look out for so that you make it across the finish line, which is your goal. You develop skills. That's what makes you successful. They don't say, just avoid sitting and continue running and you will finish the race. You don't tell somebody who has a drinking problem, just stop drinking, just avoid alcohol. Why? It doesn't work. So that's why you need to know the steps to take and the skills to build and identify the areas in your life you need to fix. And that's why I created a Drink Less lifestyle program. It's fixing your life so that you love it. It's not just an abstinence program. It's just not a 30-day challenge where we just avoid alcohol and use willpower. No, we're looking to change the habit long term, and you do that by breaking the current habit and building skills and fixing what's causing the drinking in the first place. When you fix your life, a side benefit is you will just want to drink less. So I recently was working with a woman who was carrying around so much pain from her past, so much pain. She had been in a divorce that just ended ugly, and that happened many years ago, and she'd gone to therapy for it for a while, and she just couldn't get this pain, this anger, this bitterness out of her body over this. And this was the biggest reason she was drinking. So guess what we worked on? When she joined my program, we went immediately to relieving that pain and bitterness because that was the driver of the drinking. And when she used the tools to lessen the pain and anger and bitterness, guess what? Her drinking changed. She stopped needing it. She stopped relying on it because she learned tools that actually worked in solving the pain. And she hadn't felt so light and so at peace in years. Now, here's the thing. Some people say, oh, I don't have big problems leading to my drinking. I'll tell you, if something is a problem and it's causing you to drink, it is a big problem. Oh, here, it's just a stressful time in my marriage, or my job is requiring me to work all these extra shifts because I'm in healthcare and COVID, or I'm in real estate and the market is just blowing up right now, so I have to work all these extra hours, and I'm just using drinking to cope during this time, but I know it'll go away. And when we look back at the history, the drinking has been there. It just got ramped up during this time. It was a coping mechanism before COVID hit. And here's the thing, ladies, if you can't handle good stress or bad stress in your life, that's a problem. Life is always going to give us stressful situations, not just now, but even in the future. And don't you think it's a problem if you require alcohol to manage your stress? Not every human does need it to manage stress. There are ways to manage stress that doesn't require alcohol. And here's the thing, when we overdrink, we may not realize it in the moment, but it is costing us stuff. It is costing us our time. It is costing us our money. It can cost you your marriage. It can cost you your relationships. It can cost you your job. It can cost you the relationship with your kids. And at any point in time, it can really cost you your life. And I'll tell you what, it's certainly costing you your happiness because you are not truly content or at peace or truly happy with your life if you're overdrinking. Listen, if you were given just 3 hours and all the money in the world and said, hey, just enjoy these 3 hours with whatever money it takes, go do the thing you want to do. Right? Think about that. What would you choose to do with an unlimited amount of money in 3 hours? Buy a car, go on a vacation, right? And you're at your vacation site for those 3 hours. What are you doing there? Enjoying a sunset, being on a boat, on a gondola, whatever. You're not choosing to overdrink. You're not choosing to numb out of the beautifulness of this life. So when you're truly happy and content, you don't require alcohol and you are not going to want to overdrink. Because if you overdrank, you would numb. You wouldn't be able even to experience it. You would forget it. Who would want that? See, the thing is, we have to dive into our lives and find out what is it that I'm unhappy about. And this is where my life coach helped me identify things that I couldn't see that were broken. And it really wasn't about the alcohol. And it had been the best gift I'd given myself is to find this out because years later, I still don't have over desire to drink. I knew what skills I needed to implement in my life to make my life the life that I want to live. Now, is it amazing every day? No, but it's pretty darn good. And it's certainly way better than where I was when I was over drinking. I'm more fulfilled and content now because of these skills. Okay, so earlier I mentioned why some people do get success with counting alcohol-free days, and I want to dive into why. And I want to highlight this through a story of a past client of mine. So a while back, I worked with a school teacher, and she was a mom to a young daughter, happily married, and really didn't understand why she was over drinking. As we talked, it came clearly apparent that she generally was over drinking in social situations and around her family. That's generally when most of her over drinking happened. And she kept telling me that it just didn't make sense to her because she really loved her job as a school teacher, she loved her family, and she loved her friends. So she didn't understand it can't be because she's wanting to numb. It can't be because of the stress, because she said it's not that stressful of a life. I don't understand why I am over drinking. But she really wanted to get a handle on this because she wanted to be a better role model for her daughter, and she felt completely out of integrity when she was talking to the kids that she taught about avoiding drugs and alcohol and vaping. And in the back of her head, she's like, wow, I'm teaching something and I'm out of alignment with that. This just doesn't feel good to me. I'm out of my integrity. I felt like an imposter is what she'd keep coming back to. And then she'd tell me about all the reasons she didn't like over drinking. And she did it when she got together with her coworkers, and she'd forget conversations, and she wouldn't sleep right. And then her weight was creeping up, and all of these things were really irritating to her. So when we worked together, we identified exactly what she was unhappy about. Things she didn't even know before we began working together. And I won't go into all of them, but one of the ones that caused her to overdrink with her family was when her dad came around and she just didn't like the way he treated and talked to her. And then she noticed that she wanted to be accepted when she hung out with her friends in the cul-de-sac parties, so she would just overdrink because she just lost track of her drink count, is what she said. But then we went on to identify some of the true reasons she was drinking. Then she learned the skills to handle these situations and change them. Her dad's behavior changed because she learned how to deal with him. And she no longer overdrank at cul-de-sac parties because she learned how to manage herself within that environment. Within weeks, she was down to just having one drink at these events and feeling amazing. No desire for more. And here's something that she kept saying over and over was, wow, this is so easy. Once I have these skills, this is not as hard as I thought it would be. So another week goes by, she gets on a coaching call with me, and she just said, I want to be alcohol-free forever. That was not her goal when we initially met. And I said, great, let's go alcohol-free for you. What does that look like? And she says, I want to start counting alcohol-free days. Because I want to celebrate this new version of me. I want to celebrate this new identity. This feels amazing that I don't need alcohol. I don't even want it. So she felt empowered to count alcohol-free days. So let me tell you through this story why counting alcohol-free days is so wonderful for her. First, with my help, she identified all the reasons she was drinking. We got to the root cause. Second, she learned the skills to fix those areas that I teach inside my program, right? She learned these skills. So we fixed the root cause of the problem. We identified and then we fixed. And then 3, turns out she didn't have desire for alcohol. So 4 was now she has this new identity. She had already become a woman who didn't want any alcohol. And now she was counting alcohol-free days as her way to celebrate that. She was proud of it. She posted about it on social media in her feeds. She was celebrating this new identity she had already felt. The mindset shift had already occurred. The new identity had already been placed on her, and now she was celebrating it. Because this is who she was. Notice that alcohol-free days wasn't what got her to be alcohol-free. It wasn't counting the days that got her to be alcohol-free. She did it after she had already learned how to change her relationship with her life and with alcohol. And being alcohol-free was her goal now. It's who she wanted to be. So she defined who she wanted to be, became it, and then counting the days. Whereas many of us do it backwards. We count the days thinking we can become the woman who is alcohol-free. But we know just avoiding alcohol is not what causes us not to be in love with alcohol. It's fixing the underlying cause of wanting the drink. Because when you just count alcohol-free days, you are just using willpower, and that's increasing resistance. And over time, what I find is people cave. They overdrink, they binge, and they don't know why. Because again, they've not identified the root cause. Now, I love this story so much because it articulated so much of this process and this journey. Notice at first, she did not know what relationship she wanted to have with alcohol. She didn't even know why she was overdrinking. When we met, all she knew was that she didn't like the woman she'd become. She didn't like the effects of overdrinking. And it was by going through my program that she identified why she was drinking. She fixed why she was drinking with skills that she was taught. And then she understood what type of drinker she wanted to be. And she became very confident in that's the woman she wanted to be. And this, my friends, is the journey. This is the beautiful journey about discovering yourself, leaning into your life so that you can improve it and become the woman you want to become, even if you don't know who she is yet. So this is why counting alcohol-free days may not be a good thing for you and certainly not an effective strategy long-term. Why? Because the focus is always on the alcohol and about not having it. And we know about abstinent programs and their success rate. We know that campaigns that say just say no to drugs have failed significantly and actually caused an uptick in drug use. We know that you require willpower to fight the urge. And this will cause resistance to build within us and the pressure and the pressure and the pressure that sometime in the future we wind up caving. 2 is that it doesn't get at the triggers or the root cause of the drinking, right? We're just looking to avoid the alcohol. And when you cut back or stop, you feel worse about your life because you don't know how to manage it and you're not working on tools to fix it. That one joy that you had or that one coping mechanism that you had is now gone. It's just not sustainable because you don't learn 3 new skills and tools to take charge and change the problem. And with number 4, if you're just counting alcohol-free days and you don't see the numbers increasing every day, you use it as a reason to beat yourself up instead of using it as an opportunity to learn why. Why am I still overdrinking in this scenario? Why did this happen? Nope, we just go into blame mode. I don't know why I keep doing this. I don't know why this keeps happening. Right, you won't know why if you keep saying you don't know. You have to identify why. And most likely, you need help identifying why, because it's not always apparent to ourselves. And then 5th, the reason why counting alcohol-free days doesn't work for many people, it's because that's not their goal. They don't want to be alcohol-free forever. For me, that was never my goal. I never wanted to be alcohol-free forever. I just wanted to learn to drink a lot less and with control and with confidence. I wanted to be able to trust myself around alcohol anytime I was in any situation where there was alcohol around me. I wanted to walk in a grocery store and not feel like I'm pulled to the wine aisle to buy some more. I wanted to be a woman who was in charge of my drinking, regardless of my surroundings, regardless of what my friends were drinking or if they were drinking or not, regardless of what my husband was doing, regardless of the social calendar, and regardless if it was a weekend or not. None of those I wanted to be factors in deciding my drinking unless I chose them. They were not automatic reasons for having a drink. I wanted choice, I wanted control, and I wanted to be confident in my decisions, and that's who I became. Now, on a final note, I do want to say that counting alcohol-free days can be a great short-term strategy. And here's why. First, your brain loves a challenge. Most people love to do a 10-day challenge, a month-long challenge. Our brain likes novelty. It likes something new. And particularly, some people love to do this along with another challenge, like people do diet challenges, right? They might try a Whole30 diet for 30 days. And in that diet, there's no alcohol that's allowed. And if you find this motivating, go for it. just realize it's a short-term strategy because it doesn't get to the root cause of what's driving the drinking. We're just taking a break from the alcohol. And breaks from alcohol are always good. Number 2, you know the end game, right? You know that in 30 days, this will end. This is your goal. And you know it's a short-term strategy. You know this is not going to change desire long-term. This will not break the habit long-term. You didn't do the real work long-term, right? But you know it's a short-term and that's the end game. That's what you go in knowing. And for most people, they think this should change them. This should change their relationship with alcohol. And I talk about in previous podcasts, I did years worth of dry Januaries, dry Februaries, because let's face it, that's the shortest month. Let's do a 28-day challenge rather than a 30 or 31-day challenge. Sober Octobers. I did these for months, years, but it never changed me in my drinking. It never fixed the problem of why I was drinking. And at the end of the 30 days, I was just hopeful that things would change. Wish me luck. But I went right back to the pattern. I went right back to drinking a bottle of Chardonnay a night. And you know what? It made me feel terrible. Because what was I doing wrong? How come this wasn't working? Well, you know what? I never thought about what happens after 30 days. I never thought about why it is I'm drinking. I never thought about, could it be because I'm trying to mask a problem in my life? Could it be that I'm just trying to tolerate something I'm really not comfortable tolerating anymore? Right? Just avoiding the alcohol wasn't the solution. And number 3, it's great to do a short-term challenge like this or alcohol-free days if you are doing it alongside the root cause work. So there you get the short-term benefit, the short-term strategy, and the long-term strategy, and that propels your transformation quicker. Nothing beats learning the tools and the skills to fix what's not working in your life so that you're not dependent on alcohol in any way, shape, or form, and getting change in the moment. It's very motivating. So evaluate the strategy for you. Are you just doing alcohol-free days thinking alcohol is the main problem? Are you working on the root cause of the problem, why you're doing alcohol-free days? Or is it even the wrong goal for you, as it was for me? I'm not about counting alcohol-free days because I don't want to abstain each and every day. I want to abstain most days. I want it not in my life most days, but I'm all about choice, having control, being confident in my decisions. I love to make my own choices and not have others influence my choice or have my negative emotions take over. I know how to deal with those now. And if you need help learning these skills, I invite you to come work with me inside Drink Less Lifestyle. It's an amazing program that will radically change your life. We fix what's not working, and we get you to a place where you are confident and in control. Go to sherryprice.com to learn more. I look forward to helping you love your life again. All right, my friends, that's it for this week, and I will see you next week.
Thanks for listening to Drink Less Lifestyle. If you're ready to change your relationship with drinking now, check out the free guide, How to Effectively Break the Overdrinking Habit, at sherryprice.com/startnow. See you next week.